Second numerical on design of a compression member. A column 4 meter long has to support a factor load of 600 kilonewton due to dead load and imposed load. The column is effectively held at both ends and restrained in rotation at one of the ends. Design the column. Now let's write the given data. So the applied factor load, which is 600 kilonewton. So this load is due to dead load and live load. And the length of the column is given as a 4 meter. That is the total length. And also end condition of the column is given. If you go back to table number 11, the column is effectively held at both the ends. That means the translation is restrained at both the ends. So at both the ends our translation is restrained. Okay, so either our condition may be this or this. We need to look what happens to the rotation. And restrained in rotation at one of the ends. So at one end rotation is restrained and other end rotation is free. But if you look at this, at both the ends rotation is free. That is why it is pinned. But if you look at this, one end rotation is restrained, at other end rotation is free. So here the rotation is free. So that means this is pinned end. Here rotation is arrested. So this point won't even rotate, this end. So it is fixed. So for fixed and pinned end, effective length is 0.8 times L. So effective length, which is 0.8 times the total length, 4000 mm. So effective length is 3200 mm. We know the given data. Now we need to design the column. So for design, we need to follow procedure. First, we have to assume the design compressive stress. Assume design compressive stress FCD as 135 Newton upon mm square. Again, so many times we have discussed about this FCD to be assumed, which has to follow little thumb rule, or you can assume by having experience of design. So now I am assuming 135 as the design compressive stress. Second step, I need to determine the area required. To withstand the applied factor load of 600 kilonewton. So area required, which is equal to PD by assumed design compressive stress. Here PD is the factor load, applied factor load. So applied factor load is 600 kilonewton. I have converted it into Newton, and applied axial compressive stress is 135 Newton upon mm square. So area required is 44.44 centimeters square. Okay, now I know how much is the area required approximately. So now I have to select the section. Selection of section from steel tables or any other relevant Indian standard codes. Now in the previous numerical, we have selected I section to withstand the applied factor load of 600 kilonewton. Even if I section has not enough area, then you can go for the built up section. Built up section like adding plates on the both flanges, or adding two plates on both the flanges, depending upon how strong or how much area you require to withstand the applied factor load. Or you can even select two channels and you can arrange like this. This arrangement is called back to back. back-to-back arrangement. This arrangement is called as toe-to-toe arrangement. You can select a two channel section of same size and you can arrange like this. As a whole, it behaves as a single compression member. See, the problem with this arrangement is with its maintenance. If you want paint inside, then it's very difficult to paint. So for maintenance purpose, we always go for back-to-back connection. Maintenance free purpose, we always go for back-to-back connection. That is why even in so many places, you can still able to see, even today, you can able to see built-up section like this, channel connected back-to-back, not toe-to-toe. But you should never go for single channel section. As we have discussed early in the failure of a compression member video, I recommend you to go to the failure of compression member. There we have discussed clearly that unsymmetrical section should not be used for the column. If you use, then it will undergo flexural and torsional buckling. So the strength due to flexural and torsional buckling is less than the flexural strength. So that is why we never go for unsymmetrical section as a compression member. So in this numerical, I am going to use two channel sections which is connected back to back like this. And this is my axis XX and this is my axis YY. So axis capital XX and capital YY is the global axis. And if you take single channel section, XX axis lies here and YY axis lies here. So now what I have to do is, I know IXX and IYY of a single channel section. But since I have arranged like this, I need to find out what is the global moment of inertia about the axis capital XX and the capital YY. So that is a small task I need to perform in this design numerical. Okay, before that, let me select a channel section which has the area required of 44.44 centimeters square. Area required for single channel, because I am going to select two channel for single channel section, which is equal to 44.44 centimeter square upon 2, because I need to provide area of 44.44. For a single channel, I require area of 22.22 centimeters square. So from steel tables or any other relevant code, I have to select a channel which has area more than 22.22. So if you go back to steel tables, so I am going to use ISMC 175 at 19.1 kg per meter weight, which has the area of 24.38. So which is well above or little higher than 22.22 centimeters square, whose depth of section is 175, width of flange is 75, thickness of flange is 10.2, thickness of web is 5.7, center of gravity along YY is 2.2 centimeter. So if you go back here, IXX is at the mid of the depth, but IYY is at a distance of CYY from this corner. Center of gravity is 2.2 centimeter CYY, and moment of inertia about the X is 1223.3 centimeter per 4, and moment of inertia about Y, which is 121 centimeter per 4, and radius of gyration about XX is 7.08 centimeter. Radius of gyration about YY is 2.23 centimeter. Let me write all the data. Depth of section H is 175 mm. Width of flange BF. This is the width of flange BF. H is the depth of section. Width of flange is 75 centimeter. Now thickness of flange, which is 10.2 mm. Sorry, both the values are in mm. Thickness of web, which is 5.7 mm. Moment of inertia about x axis. See, in previous design numerical, I have neglected to write moment of inertia about major axis xx. But in this numerical, I am writing it because this moment of inertia is only for single channel section. Whatever the moment of inertia I am writing is a small xx and a small yy. I need to find the moment of inertia about the capital XX and capital YY. So that is what the moment of inertia I want. Then I'll find which is the least among capital YY or XX. Then I'll conclude which is the minor axis and which is major axis, not now. So IXX, I'm writing it as a small XX because single channels moment of inertia about XX axis, which is 1223.3 centimeter per 4. And the moment of inertia about small YY axis is 121.0 centimeter per 4. Radius of gyration about small XX is 7.08 centimeter, and radius of gyration about small y1 is 2.23 centimeter. And my CG along the y, this is CY, central of gravity along y is 2.2 centimeter. Okay, now I have to find out what is my moment of inertia about XX and YY. Global moment of inertia about XX. So as I discussed, we have two channels. I'll find one, then I'll multiply with 2 because both are of same section, same size. So IGX plus AH square. So we know IGX, IXX. This is I small xx. 1223.3 into 10 to the power 4, because this is in centimeters per 4, so I have converted it into mm per 4, plus so area of the selected channel section is 24.38 centimeters square. So 2438 mm square. So I have converted it into mm, multiplied with h. So h is the distance between local moment of inertia and the global moment of inertia, small xx and capital XX. Here the h is 0 since both the axes lies at the same place. So there is no h, there is no difference between small xx and capital XX. So h is 0. So this term will become 0. So IXX is 24.467 into 10 to the power 6 mm per 4. Now let me find what is the global moment of inertia about axis YY. Again, we have to follow the same equation, IGY plus AHY square. So moment of inertia of single channel about axis YY, which is 121 centimeter per 4. So 121 into 10 to the power 4 mm per 4 plus AH square. So area of member is 2438 into h, again hy. Hy is the difference between local moment of inertia and global moment of inertia along y direction. So which is this. So this is 2.2 centimeter, that is 22 mm. So here h is 22 mm, 22 square. Now Iyy, moment of inertia about global axis, is 4.78 into 10 to the power 6 mm power 4. And also corresponding radius of gyration has to calculate. But if you compare the value, still xx is the major axis and yy is the minor axis. The value difference between the moment of inertia of xx and yy is huge. You can compare 24.467 and 4.78. So there is a huge difference between both xx and yy. And we'll discuss about this moment of inertia maybe in the next design problem, because very interesting is when we design the built-up section, we always try to equal the moment of inertia about both the axes when you design a compression member. So now let me calculate the radius of gyration about the minor axis or capital YY. Square root of I minimum upon area of the compression member. The square root of here I minimum is capital YY, because this is the minor axis Iyy upon area of the compression member. So I have two channels connected back to back, which totally acts as a single compression member. So that means area of two channels. So 2 times 24, 38. So Iyy, which is 4.78 into 10 to the power 6 mm per 4. Now if I substitute, then the radius of gyration about YY axis or minimum radius of gyration is 31.31 mm. Now I am performing the check for the compression member because I have selected a section. Now I need to make sure whether my selected section is safe enough to carry the applied factor load or not. So the slenderness ratio lambda is equal to L effective by R minimum. The effective length of given section is 3200 mm upon R minimum is 31.31 mm. So slenderness ratio is unitless, and here the slenderness ratio is 102.20. Now you have to compare with the maximum permissible slenderness ratio. If you go back to table number 3 of IS 800/2007, a compression member subjected to a dead load and imposed load, the slenderness ratio maximum permissible is 180. So since it is less than or equal to 180, the chosen section is safe against buckling. Okay, now we have to perform the second. So that is to calculate the design compressive stress FCD. So to find out design compressive stress, we need to know what is the buckling class of the given section. And if you go back to the table 10 buckling class of cross section IS 800/2007, ours is not rolled I section. So it is not even welded I section. It is not hollow box or rectangular section. It is not welded box section. And it is not either single channel, single angle, single T, solid plate or solid circular section. Our section is built up section, built up member. So this built up member can be either I section together, or even it could be an angle connected back to back, or even it could be 4 angles connected like this. We'll discuss about this in the next video class on design of compression member. As of now, since our section is a built-up section, whatever the axis, the buckling class is C. So buckling class is C. So we need to use table number 9C to find design compressive stress FCD. Now if you go back to 9C, table number 9C, the slenderness ratio is 102.20. So here for 100 we need to note down what is the design compressive stress, and for 110 we need to note down what is design compressive stress. For 110 the design compressive stress is 94.6. Let me write the design compressive stress here. For Fy 250 Newton upon mm square, and for slenderness ratio of 100 the design compressive stress is 107. For the slenderness ratio of 110 design compressive stress is 94.6. If you just refer table 9C, you will get these values. Now I need to calculate what is the design compressive stress for the slenderness ratio 102.20. So for this I am going to do manual linear interpolation. 107 minus 107 minus 94.6 upon 10 multiplied with 2.20, which is equal to 104.272 Newton upon mm square. So always design compressive stress has to be less than or equal to Fi by gamma m naught, so which is 227.27 Newton upon mm square. So it is less than 227. So this is our design compressive stress. Now third is we need to calculate what is the strength of the selected section, which is equal to area into design compressive stress. Area of section is 2438. So we have two channel section which combined together acts as a single column. So in a single column we have two channel section into design compressive stress, which is 104.272 Newton upon mm square. So the strength of the chosen section like this, okay, built up section like this, is 508.43 kilonewton. Now if you compare with our given factor load, we have to design a column to withstand the applied factor load of 600 kilonewton. But the chosen section has only axial compressive strength of 508.43. So the conclusion is, since it is less than or equal to the applied factor load, the chosen column is not safe. Sure, it is not safe. If you apply 600 kilonewton of factor load, I am sure this column will fail because it does not have that strength to withstand the applied factor load of 600 kilonewton. Now we have to revise the section. If you compare the numerical one, which is in the previous video class, and this numerical 2, if you compare both the numerical has been designed for the same factor load of 600 kilonewton, and its total length is same, and end conditions are same, everything is same. The only difference is the member which we have selected. In the first numerical, we have selected single I section to withstand that load. In this numerical, we have selected two channel section which is attached back to back, but this section is not adequate. If you go back to the steel table, see, we have chosen ISMC 175, whose least radius of gyration is 22.3. by attaching back to back of two channel, we have increased the least radius of gyration from 22.3 to 31.31. But even if you go further, the huge channel section ISMC 400, whose least radius of gyration is 28.3 mm. Even if you combine two channel section, if you attach back to back or toe to toe, from 28.3 mm you can increase up to maybe 36 mm or 37 mm. If you come back here, even if you increase the minimum radius of gyration to 36 or 37, the slenderness ratio is going to be around 90 in that range, 90 to 100 in that range. So for 90 slenderness ratio, if you calculate the design axial compressive stress FCD, it comes around maybe 110, something like that. Even if you substitute 110 in this equation, the design compressive strength of the chosen built up section is not even close to the applied factor load. Still, your member will become unsafe. So what to do now? Is it a worst to go for a built-up section like this? Or instead of going for a built-up section like this, can we even go for a simple I section that we did in a numerical one? That is safe. If you check that video, you could come to conclusion. Now, if that is so, then what is the conclusion? Is built-up section is worse than single rolled section? No. The way in which we do the built-up section plays a major role in its design compressive strength. So that is what we are gonna discuss in the next video lecture. And also we are gonna solve problems on how to design a built-up section, built-up compression member. Thank you very much.